For round 10 of the iR-04 Challenge Series, we take to the modern classic of the Hockenheimring, a fast but technical circuit that will certainly lend itself to see some awesome action. Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, to Friday night primetime here on RaceSpotTV, and to talk you through all the action will be myself, Zach Sweeney, alongside me, Cameron Roger, with Zach Johnson on the cameras. And well, Cam, we'll be talking a little bit before the broadcast about this circuit, this car in particular, the slipstream fest that it will be on the run towards the hairpin. It should really be a good one.
Oh, absolutely should. This car and this track, I think, are going to be a great combination, and some nice Friday night evening action is going to be coming your way. I'm sure it's going to be fast, it's going to be frantic, and yeah, there's going to be loads of dive bombs, I think.
Oh yes, absolutely. It's well, it's going to be chaotic to say the absolute least. We're going to jump ourselves into qualifying then. 5.5 minutes left to go. Of course, they get 2 laps to set their perfect qualifying time. And as we say week in, week out, this car does take a little while to get itself warmed up. You really do have to use your first of the 2 laps to sort of get the car into shape a little bit, get those tyres warmed up, because the outlap really doesn't cut it.
Yeah, it doesn't. You have to get the car into its working window, and that is where the better drivers can work themselves out in the qualifying session. Although one thing we have seen so far this season is, especially around a track like this, the track position in qualifying won't be so important. But of course, you want to be starting towards the front off the grid. But if you are in sort of 5th, 6th place, you can get yourself back with just the way that this car can race.
Oh, for sure. This car is so well at lending itself to having some great action. We saw, over the course of this season, halfway through last as well, when we swapped over to the iR-04 Challenge Series, it was just absolutely phenomenal. And each week sets the standard even higher. We had a cracker last time out at Alton Park, and I'm sure Hockenheimring, well, I'm genuinely thinking there's going to be one of the best races of the season, if not the best. We're getting our first round of lap times in. It is at the moment VT Velen, who is on provisional pole, a 1:38.742. Jim Hertois is only a couple of tenths back there with a 38.9. So again, it's a long-ish circuit. It's not the longest in the world, not the shortest in the world, but yeah, there's still plenty of opportunities, lots of corners to really decisively make up that lap time.
Having said that, though, top 5 within 0.4 of a second, and even then top 4 just within 1/4 of a second. It's going to be close in this qualifying session, as you're right there. There are a few sections, though, where the driver can really make up that time. There's some technical sections, especially in those final few corners coming through that stadium section. You can certainly, find that extra little bit here and there if you can take some more risk compared to your competitors.
The main thing certainly will be the braking in terms of just how well you can brake. Not necessarily where you brake, more so how. And because this car is so precise, you have to really. It certainly is a trick to get it working in your favor, and especially into the hairpin after the parabolic, after this long flat out section where we're really going to see the majority of our overtaking. You really have to pick your braking point right. Usually, you'd expect it is pretty. On the 100 board, you get it stopped, you turn it in, but it's with how sensitive this car is, you get it even marginally wrong, and you are just going to end up going straight.
Yeah, it's not obviously the most powerful car in the world, so you do have to keep that momentum going here and there, and that is really where you can find some lap time, keeping up those minimum speeds, as we've seen some of the times come in, and even more drivers get closer and closer. But it's still Peugeot at the front there, as Hertois goes up into 3rd place, but just look how close it is behind, just a couple of tenths back in the top 4.
And we really have a strong field here today. We've got some recognisable names. Enzo Peugeot, Jim Hertois. We've got VT Velen, who's been on pole a couple of times. Kian Geraghty, Alfie Bradick. Just a massively strong field. So that in itself is going to lend itself to be both competitive and close, because of just how many people there are that are very quick and in with a shout of winning. And they're all going to want to chase for that victory.
Yeah, they absolutely are. As Sandstrom here comes around the final corner, 8th place at the moment. He's going to be able to jump up at all. 6th place it is, but still just 1/4 of a second off pole, so could easily get up inside the top 3 with some improvements.
Think of this slipstream as well. Qualifying is not going to set the race result in this round by any stretch of the imagination, because there's going to be so much chaos on the first lap. Yes, turn 1 doesn't lend itself too well to overtaking, but if you just be patient, even down in towards turn 2, and then of course into the hairpin after that long straight on the first lap, people are going to get too eager. Tires are still cold, lots of mistakes. So even if you don't qualify too well, as long as you're sort of in the top 10, top sort of that sort of area, you are still certainly within a fantastic shout of at least a podium.
Oh yeah, you can fight from there, and that is really the important part around here. Staying inside that front pack is going to be so important. The slipstream will pull you along. It will keep you, with those faster guys, even if they're a tenth or so quicker. That slipstream will get you. As Bradbury there goes to the top, that is a massive improvement though. A quarter of a second back to Peugeot in second place. That is a huge lap time from Ted Bradbury with just under a minute to go.
Wow. Out of the blue, just really pulled that one out of the bag, and yeah, a quarter of a second is absolutely massive around here, yeah, he's certainly making a name for himself in making a statement to the rest of his competitors. So look out for him in the race, certainly. And that is just the thing. Again, that's the second lap. He didn't have the best of first laps because the car takes a while to warm up, but as soon as you hit that second lap, everything's in working order and you can really just absolutely go for it. You'll look at your delta if you have it on. I know some people prefer it off, especially yourself, but it's just, Jack Bennett's running a little bit wide going through the Mobil 1 curve. But again, on that second lap, everything's just so switched on. You can be so committed and just so confident, which again, confidence and having that faith in yourself can really gain you a couple of tenths.
Oh, it certainly can. I am a big fan of the whole idea of confidence, because if you're confident in the car, you can brake that a little bit later. You get on the throttle that little bit sooner, and you just take that little bit more minimum speed in the corners, and that will add up to tenths, even on a track like this. And that is what is so important with how close these lap times are. But certainly Bradbury there showing, something very important here in this qualifying session. He's got a couple of tenths. Is that enough to pull away at the front in the race?
He's got to get off to a good start at the very least. Well, we will go to the grid in just a couple of seconds' time. This is how they rack up after qualifying. A fantastic effort from Ted Bradbury sees him take pole position. He'll be joined by Peugeot on the front row, with Backhoon and Jim Hertroyce making up 3 and 4. Rounding off the top 5 comes Janssen, and he'll be joined by Kuboc on the third row in P6. Looking a little bit further down, we've got Sandstrom and Vella making up the fourth row. They'll join each other on the grid, with Lammers and Kean Geraghty rounding off those inside the top 10. Freddie Ingram and Alfie Bradick have each other's company on the 6th row, with Alex Lewis and Don Lee 13th and 14th. Patrick Riesendahl rounds off the top 15 with Maciek Sakowicz in P16. Spencer Wrightsma P17, with Harold Matterson on the 9th row there in P18. Joran Kaiser P19, Massimo P20. Lewis McGlade didn't set a lap time in qualifying, so he's only 21st. Jack Bennett's P22, with Kurt Kepsch in P23, rounding off those that will start the race here today. We're counting down until we go to the lights, Cam, and well, I certainly cannot wait for this one.
Absolutely not. There's going to be a lot of passing on this lap one, I'm sure. First of all, the run to turn 1 is a little bit awkward, maybe a little bit single file there. But once you get into turn 2, big braking zone, then out through the parabolica into the hairpin at the end of the back straight. Again, big braking zone. Then after that, come into the Mercedes arena. Once again, big braking zone. So there's 3 big opportunities here at the start of this opening lap, where we can see some side-by-side action and some drivers trying to get themselves up a few places higher.
Oh, definitely. Well, before we get going, Cam, we got a few seconds predictions.
Oh, I mean, Bradbury, that was a lot of speed that he showed in that qualifying session. I think he's going to be to the front, but Peugeot showed very good speed last week as well. So, to be honest, I'm going to go for Peugeot. Let's see.
Ooh, out of the box. Well, certainly do let us know in the live chat if you're watching along at home. We're about to find out, though. 20-minute showdown. The lights will soon come on. Bradbury on pole, Peugeot alongside round 10 of the iR-04 Challenge Series here on RaceSpotTV. We're about to get ourselves underway, and here we go. A pretty clean start there for the front. Already cutting to the inside goes Backhoon to cover off his bases. Single file 1, 2, and 3 as they go through the number 1 of her toys, trying to make up places early as well. Has to concede as they run down in towards turn 2. Bradbury leads from Peugeot, Backhoon, Hertroyce, and Janssen. Your top 5 on the defensive, though, already. Bradbury, Peugeot looking to his left-hand side. A bit of a side-by-side moment. Already a big crash, though. That's the number 11 of René Lammers going off, and already lap 1 proving to be chaos.
Absolutely. 2 cars there going around at turn 2, and that's not what you wanted to see, especially cars up in the air as towards the front. Ted Bradbury there on the outside, 3 wide as we come through the parabolica, and it's all now about the braking zone towards turn number 1. Peugeot's got the lead at this moment in time, but who will come out on top once we get through this braking zone? 3 wide as we're getting the 2, 4, and 6 coming around, and Bradbury looks like he's been able to hold on from that one, and Peugeot back into second place.
Oof, it's been so close. 3 wide into the Spitz hairpin on lap 1. That is always what we're going to expect, as they now run through to the Mercedes arena section. Our top 4 separated by absolutely nothing. Bradbury to the defensive line. Here comes Peugeot, falls in the gap to the inside. Bradbury just about manages to hold on, but you have to be careful side by side between Hertroyce and Bakun for the final place on the podium, though they have to be careful. There goes Hertroyce very wide. They could see him lose a place. Bradbury defensive and just trying to break the toe. Peugeot trying to go the long way round. It's really kicking off on this first lap. They're really trying to settle their way in, but Bradbury already under a ton of pressure. There goes Sandstrom off. It's just so close, so chaotic, and very overwhelming for a lot of these cars.
God, there's about 2 or 3 cars go all the way through the gravel there, somehow not losing some time, but they seem to be all going in a straight line, which is quite remarkable considering what we've seen side by side there through the final corner. I think that's Velen trying to get a bit of a run as well, as they once again all go out onto the gravel, as the 22 car there has gone spinning around of Kaiser in 22nd place. There's more cars in the walls who come on the start-finish line.
Oh, that is a car without a wheel. That is, I believe, Roosendahl, who has, understandably taken himself back to the pit lane. He is out of this race on lap 1. That just goes to show how chaotic this can be. No, that's Roosendahl there in the 23. That is a big shame for him to be caught out on that. But again, Muncher amongst the pack. There's so many things going on, as here goes our top 4 once more. Bradbury from Peugeot, who's trying to duck and dive and not tow Peugeot by any means in the slipstream, really taking some erratic movements, moving from one side of the track to the other to limit it. Peugeot, though, going to the left-hand side. Bakun looking interesting. Is Bradbury going to get it stopped? Is Peugeot going to go the long way round? Not quite. He's going to go forced to go the long way round. Bakun, though, taking the shorter line on the inside. He's going to now run side by side. Not quite got the run. And Peugeot just about hanging on for second, though. For him, he's probably in a really bad situation. He's trying to put the pressure on Bradbury, but also keep the trainer cars behind him as well.
That's a difficult position to be when you've got cars right behind you and right in front of you as well. You've got to be careful to not sort of put yourself in a bad position where you're actually going to lose a place from the car behind us. Once again, we're getting some side-by-side action. The track is so wide through this drag strip section of corners up towards the Mobil 1 curve. Contact between the two, and the number 10, number 3 goes spinning around. Garrity and Sandstrom off there, and it's hard to see exactly, but they certainly weren't giving each other much room.
It's difficult into the Mobil 1 curve. You are taking that at very quick speeds. Also going off is Freddie Ingram, who we tipped to be doing quite well in this race too. He's fallen back. And Lewis McLeod, can we just say, from 21st on the grid, already up into P12. So that says something about how chaotic this start has been. The number 7 side by side with Kaboch there as well, who himself didn't have the best of starts and was tangled up. So yeah, these cars very, very sensitive. This track keeping everyone nice and close together. So you have to be on your toes around here.
And you've got to make every opportunity count. If there's cars spinning around you, you just got to be a little bit wary of the situation. He's getting a bit of a dive there down the inside. We got is that Ingram there having a bit of a run on Masida through this little kink as well onto the back straight. No contact between the two, but that's going to be a run now once again as you come down the Parabolica, and that's going to be a huge send down the inside of the hairpin.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's going to want to get himself inside the top 10 is Masida and Ingram as well, who's not too far back. But Masida looking to go for the move for P number 9 if he can get it done. Actually, no, I don't even know where I'm looking. Freddie Ingram trying to get himself inside the top 10. Goes up the inside. Bit of a slide on the exit as Masida tries to go for the up and under. Doesn't quite work. Doesn't quite have the drive off. And that's the tricky thing, that these cars do struggle with acceleration a little bit. And even if you can get the switchback off the Spitsker hairpin, it's so difficult to keep it there because the car on the outside sometimes gets it pointed straight quicker, and then you're sort of just stuck. Even though you got the slightly better run coming out, you just can't do anything with it.
Yeah, you got to certainly find the right moment as all the drivers use all of the curb there coming through the Mobil 1 curve, as we've got a 5-way fight now towards the front. Bradbury actually not quite showing that quali pace because all these drivers are so far behind. They're literally pushing each other as we come through this final sequence of corners, and this is the important place on the track where you need to stay close, because now the straights are going to be starting as we start the lap once again. Peugeot is going off into the gravel. That's not going to help his run, but this section through turn 1 is so important. If you can stay close, you can have a bit of a run into turn 2.
Absolutely, it's all about staying close and of course utilising that slipstream as best you can. We have said it is going to be a bit of a slipstream fest if you can just stay with a pack of cars in front. And you talk about Ted Bradbury not showing his qualifying pace in the race. He hasn't had a chance in clear air. Lap after lap, Peugeot has hammered him, and of course keeping a train of 5 cars behind you isn't always the best ideal situation. You can see Peugeot trying to keep Bakun at bay. He's going to try and look feisty. Bradbury having to go semi-defensive. You can see he's weaving around trying to break the toe. Stays confident movement on the left-hand side. No one fabricating a move, though, for Janssen to the inside, trying to get himself onto the podium. Gets it down the inside. Does he get it stopped? Is Bakun going to go the long way round? Not quite. And Hertroy's trying to get involved. And that's the thing about these packs is everything goes on so quickly. If you see a move, you see a gap, someone trying to overtake someone in front of you, you then have to take those opportunities and work your way forward.
Oh yeah, if the door opens, you've just got to send it down the inside, and Hertroy's just thinking about that, but not quite enough into this sequence of corners where you can't just quite overtake. But now coming out onto this little short, sharp shoot down towards the Mobile 1 curve, staying closer once again. And you're going to see Bradbury here. He's having to defend into the Sachs curve, and that is what is so important, losing him time even more as these guys try and battle once again, because it's so cambered, you can really take the speed and try and hold it around the outside even.
The last sector is going to be very crucial for Bradbury if he wants to win this race. He has to use it as sort of a buffer zone to build up that buffer zone into Sector 1, and then, of course, down in towards the hairpin at Turn 6 through the Parabolica. He has to use these opportunities now to try and hope everyone behind him starts to battle, and if he's having the pressure put onto him, he's not making any advances forward. And you can see Peugeot is practically pushing him through the near, flat-out corner of T1. It's very, very quick. So, yeah, Peugeot hammering the pressure on as they break down in towards Turn 2. No moves being made for all of them because you don't really want to. You can't kill your momentum. Bradbury goes in a bit too deep, though. That could allow Peugeot to go underneath him. Now he's going to have the inside for the Parabolica side by side between the two of them. Of course, Bradbury will have the inside line. Everyone behind them, the likes of Janssen and Bakun, going for the slipstream to the inside to try and force the gap open. But Peugeot and Bradbury, he's got his nose ahead, has Peugeot. Bradbury all the way to the right-hand side to defend from those behind. Janssen going to try and thread the needle through the middle. Is it going to work out for him? There's Bakun as well. 3 wide going through. Bakun with an absolute send. Now he's running side by side with Bradbury too. Could this be an insane run from the number 6?
Not quite enough. Didn't have enough speed, but that's an amazing move up in towards second place, and this has all turned around. Peugeot now, from fighting for the lead, is now back into 5th place as they're trying to work their way out, coming through this middle part of the lap. Peugeot trying to get back involved, but we've got Janssen now up into that 3rd place as well. Bakun doing such a good job, and somehow Bradbury is still in the lead of this after all of this battling, and at one point surely they're going to be coming for him as well, but for sure it's not going to be easy. Send there down the inside, Peugeot into the Mobile 1 curve. That's brave.
It very much is, but yeah, Hertroy's just decided to choose life over that one, I'm sure. Just didn't want to risk anything and be stubborn, because he had the right to just be like, whatever, it's the Mobile 1 curve, I'm just going to turn here. As you can see to the inside, there goes Peugeot trying to make quick amends into the penultimate corner. Brave, but fair enough. Still running side by side with Janssen. They have to make sure they keep the toe, and Janssen does tuck in behind Peugeot back up to P3, so very quickly trying to redeem himself for the poor run. But that's the thing about these types of races, these pack races, you can't be left vulnerable on the outside, because as soon as you are, everyone behind you just says, yeah, mate, that's the inside for me. I'm coming through.
That was pretty crazy by Peugeot. 2 overtakes in the final sequence of corners where we haven't really seen an overtake, a legitimate overtake just yet, really being opportunistic there. But now back to lead Bakun. This time around, he's so close to Bradbury. Bradbury going the long way around the Parabolica, but of course, this is such a longer run with it being on the outside of the curve, and to the inside goes Bakun side by side. The number 6 and the number 2 looks like Bakun's going to have the lead coming towards the braking zone, but is it going to be enough on the brakes? Is he strong enough on the brakes? No, it doesn't seem like he is. Bradbury's going to hold on to it once again. Now up the inside though, Peugeot, he goes up in towards 2nd place. Might be going for the lead as we come through the kink.
He might well do, and might do a Bakun on Bakun. He's going to run side by side with Bradbury. Actually, he's got the run. It'll be the outside for the Mercedes sector. Can Bradbury hang on? It's really good, really easy to actually keep the momentum on the outside. Janssen as well, trying to make up places on Bakun. Has to go single file though, does Peugeot in his battle against Bradbury. Single file as they go through the next right-hander. Bradbury is doing such a good job of making that car as wide as possible, keeping everyone at bay. And he's doing the strategical thing as everyone tries to duck and dive their way through, find the gap and just try and find their way through. But through all of it, Bradbury is doing a great job. Peugeot, though, trying to go for the move in towards the Sachs curve. That's dangerous, throws Bradbury off, and that's exactly what he needs to do, is to force the mistake and force the gap open.
Certainly does, but just look how close these are staying. They change order every single lap, but it doesn't matter because they are just staying so close, and somehow Bradbury is just holding on to this, and we got even Bradick just in the background starting to think about getting on with this battle as well. As we come across the line once again, just about 10 minutes to go, so we're pretty much halfway through this race already. It's going by very quickly, but the drivers do know that the laps will start to count down. They need to start making their moves, and who really wants to be leading when we get onto that final lap?
Absolutely, it's going to be the game of chess against all of these guys. You want to be in the prime position going on to that final lap, because if you're left vulnerable, if you're in the wrong place, it really can come down to both luck and positioning. And yeah, right now these moves don't matter at all, because it's always going to top and change for the next 9 minutes. What happens, what does matter really, is those final couple of laps that can really set the tone. You can see Batkun having to go defensive, which might not be the best idea. As you can see there, Troy's going to see the open gap, sends one. He goes in with confidence and makes the move stick, or does he? Janssen still the long way around with the drive, with the toe, and it's to no avail for Troy's.
And it's crazy how wide this track is with these cars. Obviously, they're not the biggest cars in the world. Bradbury has a little bit of a defensive line there coming to the braking zone, but it's so crazy how wide. I mean, some sections are probably twice as wide as some other tracks that we've been to in this car, like Alton Park or maybe even Knock Hill last season as well. Absolutely crazy, especially this drag strip section. Really opens up the opportunity for you to dive it down the inside and just find a gap that the driver ahead of you can't defend, purely just because there's too many spaces at one opportunity. Pretty crazy indeed, especially into that hairpin. But let's see, once again, Bradbury's starting to get a tiniest bit of a gap, obviously just about a car length, but is it going to be enough?
It never is. The slipstream range in these cars is pretty substantial, actually. You'd be surprised at how big it is and how long you can see. In effect, they all run wide. Peugeot especially going a little bit too wide. That car looked like it was going to tail over him, but unfortunately for him, he's managed to keep it going and pointing in the straight line, which is absolutely remarkable. Of course, Bradbury ran a little bit wide, and because Peugeot is so tucked up behind him, there was not really much he could do. He was sort of forced to follow his line. Unfortunately for him, he was able to keep that point in the right way.
Yes, certainly getting close now between these drivers. Always a number 5 there, Masida. He's gone off. Is that at turn 1? That's probably quite a high-speed spin. And I wonder if that is on his own, because sometimes if you're trying to go side by side, you can just be clipped by a car and then have a big accident there, which is not what you want to see. That could have potentially been a bad one, but he's still in the race. And as we come back to this lead at the front, Bradbury there, bit of a lock-up. Peugeot thinking about diving it down the inside, but not quite enough. But that could slow his run down.
Absolutely, it's mistakes like that Peugeot are going to need to capitalise on in order to get into this race lead effectively, because at the moment Bradbury, his defensive lines just aren't at all breaking. He's doing everything right, putting the car exactly where it needs to be. Batkun, Peugeot, Janssen, anyone who's in that second place tries, and it's just to no effect, because Bradbury, you can even see into the Mobile 1 using every bit of the track possible. Batkun going to go to the left. Is he going to go for the up and under on the pair of them, at least maybe on Peugeot towards the Sachs curve? Not quite close enough. Both of them going defensive. Peugeot going to look the long way around. Of course, the banking of the corner does lend itself to run side by side. Here comes Janssen the long way around, and Batkun, they're going to run side by side into the final sequence of corners through this little S section. Gives them the inside for the penultimate corner. Does get this move stuck. Oh, so close to contact as Batkun looks optimistic to go around the outside of the pair of them. Here comes Janssen to the inside, gets himself into P3, and oh my word, that was so close to disaster.
Oh, it certainly was. That I thought there was going to be 3 cars spinning there at the final corner, but somehow they managed to keep that one on the track, and Batkun now down into 4th place. This is crazy how they go up and down every single lap, changing positions pretty much. And Janssen there having a thing, but actually it's Peugeot down the inside for the lead. Bradbury there has led for a while, but he goes too deep and all of them go past. Bradbury there retakes the lead. Janssen up into 2nd, and Peugeot is about to lose 3rd place.
Too ambitious, didn't quite get the car stopped, and everyone decided to capitalise on that and come through. Now Janssen could potentially have a go at Bradbury down in towards the Spitzker hairpin of turn 6. You can see Peugeot has really fallen back. Here comes Janssen to the right-hand side. Has he got the move done? Bradbury hasn't covered off his bases. Has to go to the middle of the track, brings it back to the left slightly to open it up. Janssen to the inside, side by side go our 2 race leaders, and Janssen into the race lead. Bradbury has to tuck into the slipstream once more. Does he have an opportunity down in towards the Mercedes sector? Troy's trying to make the move on Peugeot as well, and meanwhile Bradick is silently reeling these guys back in. Janssen already, though, on the defensive. Bradbury wants to fight back.
I got no idea who's going to win this. They are literally, they've been in every single combination that they could inside this top 5. It is crazy. Janssen to the front now, trying to defend from Bradbury up the inside there, the Mobile 1 curve. That is so wide, this section of corners side by side between the two. Janssen around the outside, holds on to it. Bradbury there, not running too deep, which is good, but that means he's going to have to defend now. Batkun's right behind him, a Peugeot as well. These guys are going crazy, and as you say, Bradick is so close to being in this battle. A 6-way battle we've got for the lead with 5 minutes to go.
I'm loving this. Absolutely loving this. Janssen did a fantastic job around the outside of the Mobil 1 curve. Just pinned Bradbury to the inside, then pulled it back to the left, swung around, used that momentum. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Brilliant respect between all 5 of these drivers, soon to be 6, because Bradick is certainly in the mix now. 1.5 seconds covers the leader down to P6. This is so close. And, well, these last 5 minutes are going to be so decisive, so crucial. You can see Bradbury darting to the inside. He's going to do Peugeot. Can he do it a little bit better? Janssen a long way round. He might be forced out wide. Backkoon trying to get involved as well. Are they going to be 3 abreast on the run towards the Parabolica, and of course in towards the hairpin? Peugeot trying to make amends. He's certainly in for the mix through the race lead. Oh my god, through the middle. Peugeot being very brave.
Certainly is almost 4 wide there through the Parabolica, now to the inside. Janssen's trying to get a bit of run, and so on the outside is her choice there, but it looks like it's going to be Peugeot up the inside there, taking up the lead, but Janssen's going to be getting a better run. 3 wide on the exit behind them as well. Bradbury her choice, and Bakoon, we're almost getting a 3x3 as we come through the kink as well. 2x2 we are. Who is going to come out on top of this in towards the braking zone? Looks like it's going to be Janssen up the inside, but as well Bradbury's diving into the inside. Peugeot takes the lead once again, and it's so hard to predict who's going to come out on top of this one, because now Bakoon is getting back involved as we come up to the Mobil 1 curve.
Wow, this is leaving me absolutely speechless. These guys with the fantastic action that they're putting on display for us today. This is certainly not even by far, but certainly up there with one of the best races of the season. We still have nearly 4 minutes of action. Peugeot, though, a bit of a slide through the Sachs curve. That could allow Bradbury to get side by side. It'll be the outside for the penultimate corner. They're going to run side by side. Can Peugeot hang on? Janssen also going to look to the inside for second place. Has to back out of it, though. Could leave him vulnerable to Bakoon. They are bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper. Are our top 6. Bradick certainly involved, and you cannot separate these guys any more than they already are.
Yeah, this is amazing. 6-way battle with just about 3 laps to go. This is going to be crazy to see who's going to come out on top. Now, we've got Peugeot leading the way as you come down towards turn number 2. Who's going to get the run? Bradbury there, diving to the inside, but so is Bakoon. Has Bradbury gone too wide, though? He might just have through the kinks of turn 3 and 4. Looks like actually on the exit, he's managed to hold it. Peugeot hasn't got the run, but just behind them, Bakoon is going to be getting a run, and so is Janssen through the Parabolica.
Here we go. Peugeot, Bradbury side by side once more. Bakoon, though, with an insane run with the slingshot, might actually have a chance for the race lead. He's going to be on the outside, might be beached on the outside as well. Peugeot going to hold his nerve to the right-hand side. They are going to be nearly 4 abreast on the braking zone. Bradbury through the middle. He's going to try and go for Peugeot. The long way round, though, goes Bakoon. He's going to get forced wide, forced off the circuit. And everyone, there's just so many cars in such a little space. Bradbury still side by side with Bakoon and Peugeot as they run 2 abreast in towards the Mercedes Arena section. Peugeot to the right-hand side. Who's going to come out on top as they get in towards the braking zone? Bakoon takes the lead of the race, though they both go in too deep. Bradbury through contact as well a little bit further back. He's going to swoop around the outside of Bakoon. What a race this is.
And Peugeot down to 5th place. I think it was actually on his own, making a bit of a mistake there. Coming into the braking zone, it looked like it's actually down the inside goes Janssen. Her choice, though, is trying to hold it all the way around the outside there in that 3rd place as Bakoon takes the lead almost in the braking zone. Not quite enough. Gets the up and under, though. Side by side on the exit through this little chicane sequence. He might have to back out of that one as that's not going to work. Bradbury holds on to the lead, but now the 2 still go side by side in towards the final corner. Bakoon just backing out of that one once again. Not enough. And Bradbury here still somehow holding on. 1 minute 40 to go, probably a couple of laps to go in this race. It's going to be so close, so close. And we're talking, saying it's actually the white flag, and that's why these guys are going so crazy. They're all off the track as well.
Oh my word, 1 more lap of action, guys. This is it. Bradbury leads Bakoon, her choice, Janssen and Bradick, but do not hold that to what it is now. It's completely provisional. Bradbury leads in towards turn 2. Will he lead down in towards the Spitskare hairpin? Because that hasn't been the case. Janssen and her choice running 2 abreast, 2 by 2. They go between 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th. Peugeot down to P6 after being in the lead this time last lap. Bakoon, can he do anything about the race lead in towards turn 6, in towards the braking zone? It's going to have to be an almighty send. Who's going to fight for the podium as well? That's also something to answer. Bradbury going defensive. Bakoon looking to fill the space on the inside. So many cars. A bit of a lock-up for the number 8 of Bradick. 2 abreast between Janssen and Peugeot. 2 abreast for the race lead as well. Bradbury and Bakoon running side by side. Bakoon has the inside for now. Bradbury will have the inside for the Mercedes sector. But who's going to be bravest on the brakes? You can definitely count that Bakoon's going to at least try it to the outside. It's going to be very brave. Might go for the up and under. Go for the switchback. Bradbury leads. Oh, contact. Janssen's on his tyres.
He certainly is, and that's him going to be out, just trying to hang around the outside on this final lap. No one's giving any room. Bradbury now defending to the inside of the Mobil 1 curve. He's got one major corner here coming up into the Sachs curve. Bakoon needs to try something. He's been there at the front the whole race, has Bradbury, but can he hold on? Just 3 corners to go.
Absolutely. If Bradbury wins this from pole position, it'll be so well. He's put up a valiant defense, and of course, to fight his way back, Kuhn into the final penultimate corner. He had a little bit of a look, but had to back out. One more corner left to go for Ted Bradbury to negotiate. He's going to take the checkered flag, but only just still fighting a little bit further back. Ted Bradbury takes the win here in Hockenheim from Kuhn, Hurtois, Peugeot, and Freddie Ingram rounding off your top 5. And wow, Cam, those top 6, speechless.
What a race between these guys, just putting on an absolute show here on Friday Night Primetime. It's amazing to see how this car just seems to work at so many tracks, and especially here today at the Hockenheim Ring. We've been seeing a massive amount of action. Every single lap there were overtakes. Almost every lap there was a change for the lead as well. Absolutely amazing, and very minimal contact. Just Janssen there on the final lap, unfortunately getting unstuck, but just overall such clean racing, hard racing, and that is what we love to see.
It's just, there's not many more words to describe that will actually do it justice. Here are the race results, and they were changing every single lap. It was an absolute cracker. 12 laps of just complete and utter action. Ted Bradbury took the win from Kuhn and Hurtois, your final podium places. Peugeot and Freddie Ingram round off your top 5. Then comes Alfie Bradick in P6, Spencer Reitzman P7, Kabotch in P8 with Janssen and Jack Beckett rounding off your top 10. Viti Velin surprisingly took the fastest lap. It was none of our top 6, but we look outside the top 10. Howard Matterson P11, Lewis McGlade from the back of the grid up to P12, maximising his opportunities with the contact. Patrick Roosendahl just behind in P13, Joran Kaiser P14, Viti Velin down in P15, Jesper Sandström P16, Kieran Geraghty after contact on the first couple of laps only 17th, Lammers same with a bit of contact a little bit earlier on in P18, Sakowicz P19, Donnelly in P20. We've got a couple more I think that didn't quite make it to the checker flag. Mercedes, Lewis and Kacheps in P23, and well, I'm honestly, Cam, I'm kind of disappointed that race was only 20 minutes long.
Yes, it would have been nice to see another sort of 5-10 minutes of that is for sure. But those guys were just, taking, every opportunity they could. But you had to, because you saw if they didn't take the opportunity, there was 1, 2, 3 guys behind them trying to dive it down the inside as well. Just absolutely, amazing to see. And I can't wait to see how this series continues with a few races still left to go at some nice circuits.
It's going to be an absolute cracker, and the only thing I can really compare that race to was just a World Championship karting race of how close they were. They were just, nose to tail the entire top 6, looking for gaps, looking for anything they could, maximizing the slipstream, and I can't say anything more about that race, and just left absolutely speechless. We really did, and I keep there with that one, Cam. But I hope everyone at home did enjoy that one too. It has been myself, Zach Sweeney, and Cameron Roger in the commentary booth. We've had Zach Johnson on the cameras trying to keep up with all the action here at the Hockenheim Ring. It's been a pleasure to talk you through all the action. We'll be here in a week's time for round at number 11.